Hello everyone, welcome to DIY Design by CCW. Thank you so much for tuning in and I hope you are having a fantastic day. Well, as you can see, I am here, I'm at my desk and I'm going to be doing a DIY for you. I have all sorts of materials here. I have some mirrors, I have some hanging crystals, a couple of different glues and some other items, a couple of thrifted items, as well as some Dollar Tree items. And then we're going to jump right into today's DIY. What I'm going to be doing for you today is duping one of my own designs or my own DIYs. Way back when I started doing these DIYs, I did something called the Glam Crystal Dollar Tree, I guess they were, candle holders. And I've always wanted to remake them or to dupe them to see if I could do them a little bit differently. So that's what we're going to be doing today. First, I'm going to start by building my mirror bases it's going to be the top of my candle holders. And when I did the first set, I really just glued the crystals right on the back of the mirror, and I always regretted, or I later regretted, that I didn't build up the mirror a little bit and make it a little bit thicker before I glued on the crystals and to have that chandelier effect. So since then, I've made tons and tons of lids and tons of mirrors and, vanity pieces and things like that. So I learned some tricks and that's what I'm going to do. So here you see these mirrors are 6-inch mirrors, and what I've done is glued together and stacked together 6-inch cake boards. No need to cut, they fit, perfectly. I've glued 2 together, and then I'm going to glue a 6-inch mirror to each side. I'm using my E6000 quick hold glue for this part of the project, and then once I get these mirrors glued together, when I come back, we'll move on to the next step in the DIY. So now that my mirrors have dried, and again, I've got mirrors on both sides and 6-inch mirrors and 2 6-inch cake boards in the middle. Now I'm going to use this fabric trim. This comes from Joann Fabric. The brand is Place and Time trim, and it's a rhinestone fabric trim. And I'm going to use that to rim out my mirrors so that you can't see where I stacked the cake boards. Also, if you follow this channel, I'm going to add a little bit of bling. So this fabric trim, it's something that I picked up on sale. It's crazy because it was marked as Halloween trim. It doesn't have anything to do with Halloween. It's just glam trim, but hey, that's the way they had it marked. And it was 50% off, so I bought everything that they had. So anyway, it's just the right width, for the 6-inch mirrors and for the way I stack them. So here you see, I had just cut some strips And I'm just pressing those strips into place. And the glue I'm using again for this part of the DIY is the E6000 Quick Hold. So now that the glue is dry, I'm going to clean up the mirrors and then go ahead and move on to the next part of the DIY. And then that's going to be me attaching the crystals for the chandelier effect that I want for my candle holders. So what I'm using now, when I did this the first time, I really wasn't sure how to attach the crystals to the mirror. So you know what? I just took some E6000 and glued them to the back. But now I have a method that allows me to attach them, and it gives it a more professional look or finish. And what I'm going to be using is these Hildy and Joe magnetic clasps. Now these are the clasps that you buy if you make jewelry, so that if you want to have a magnetic clasp to attach your to clip your necklace together, or to close your necklace. Or hook your necklace, if you know what I mean. So what I'm doing here, as you can see, is I spaced the clasp on the back of the mirror, tried to make sure they were at least 2 inches apart, and then I started applying my crystals. Now off camera, what I had to do, these crystals were a little bit too long, so I took a couple of the links out of each one, and that's what you see sitting off to the side there. And I'm just going to apply them to, first I'll glue on the clasp and glue it into place, and then I'll just slide on the crystal. Now what you could do, I like to put my crystals on right after I glue the clasp on. You certainly could wait, glue your clasp down, make sure they're all even and straight, then come back after your glue is set, and then hook your clasp in. So you definitely don't have to do it the way I'm doing it now. This is just the way I chose to do it. But anyway, so I'm attaching the clasp, and you'll see that I'm mixing 2 different glues. So what I learned when I did the first one is, although the E6000 Quick Hold is a really good glue, it grabs quick, it's great for doing like adding trim and embellishment. When it comes to this kind of heavy duty stuff where, I'm going to have a crystal that's going to be dangling, from this clasp, the regular E6000 is better. But I also found that if I want to get a faster cure, I can add in a little bit of the E6000 Quick Hold to get that faster cure and holding time. But for these, to make sure that I'm not re-gluing my crystals a little bit, down the road, I add the E6000 to strengthen the hold. So that's pretty much the process. You just want to go around, and like I said, I did mine this way and attached and glued at the same time. The other way could be done certainly, and probably would be even easier, I guess, is to just go ahead and glue all your clasps down, make sure they're secure, and then come back and hook on your crystals. So, all right, guys, I'll let you watch me do this part, and then I'll be back when we get to the next part of the DIY. So now I'm going to go ahead and prep my thrifted candle bases. Now these candle bases are crystal. They're really pretty. And if I hadn't thrifted them and paid just about 50 cents or something for them, I probably would not use them in this application because I'm going to be using the regular E6000. So I'm probably not going to be able to to make any changes to this once I do it. But what I'm doing here, you see me using an alcohol wipe. I'm just sort of cleaning it up, even though I've already done that previously. And I'm going to take and I'm going to glue these glass candle bases to the bottom just to give the piece a little more stability, because I'm going to have that, mirrored top with all the crystals on top, sitting on top of it. Also, I want to make sure that I wanted to give it a little more height, just a little bit more. So basically, I'm just taking my E6000 glue and attaching the base to the bottom of each one. Now, I thought about putting these on top and then attaching the mirror on top, but when I looked at it, it's not that much bigger, so I don't think it would have given me that much more stability. Maybe it would have, I don't know. I guess it is big enough to do that on second thought. But what I really wanted to do was just add that dimension to the bottom of my piece and make the bottom a little bit more substantial. So that's what I decided to do. All right, guys, so I'll let you watch me do this part, and I'll be back when we get to the next part of the DIY. So now that I've built up the base a little bit, what I'm going to do is add some of that same fabric trim that I added around the mirrors that that the chandelier crystals will be hanging from. I'm going to add just a little bit of that trim around the base, just to accent the base a little bit more. I'm not going to do anything else though, because these are already really pretty, and I just don't think I need to do anything else, to them. I think they're pretty enough. I thought about putting mirrors or something like that, but you know what? That would be overkill. If these were glass and not crystal, then maybe I would do that, but I think I've done enough. After I add this bling wrap, what we're going to do is work on the candle holder part of these candle holders. So, all right, guys, I'll let you watch me do this part, and I will be back. Guys, so now I'm moving on to adding some embellishment to the candle holder part of my candle holders. So in the original chandelier candle holders, I use bowls. And I was going to use bowls this time, and then I realized that the bowls that I have are smaller than the ones that I used in the first DIY. But the nice thing about this is, just like I did in the first DIY, I'm not going to glue these to the bases, so they're interchangeable. I can use these with these particular bases that I'm building, or I can use them somewhere else. I can switch things around. This will actually be the third set I've made like this, now that I think about it, because I did also make a square set that I made out of some thrifted pieces too. So anyway, what I've decided to do is to just, of course, if you follow this channel, I love to paint, but I'm not painting these potbelly vases. And again, these are those little potbelly vases that you get from Dollar Tree. What I'm going to do is just add some embellishment. Just like I like to do many times, I'm going to go vertical, and I've got 2 strips of that same fabric trim, that I used on the mirrors as well as the candle bases. And I've added a strip of what I call the regular bling wrap in the middle. And unlike typically, I usually do one side as the statement piece and kind of leave the other side blank. This time I'm doing both sides, and I'm also going to add a little bit of trim around the top of the piece as well. Now, the one thing I haven't decided is what will be my accent piece. So I had a choice between a couple of different brooches, and they're very, very different. There's one that you see laying beside me there on the desk that is very pretty but small. And then there's a larger cascading type of brooch that if you follow this channel, you've seen me use before. And at this point, I'm not sure which way I'm going to go, but I will go ahead and prep both of the brooches and get them ready, and then just keep thinking about what I want to do until I figure it out. So, all right, guys, I will let you watch me do this, and I will be back. Okay, so now it's time to simply glue my candlestick or candle holder to the mirror base. And this is the easiest part of the DIY. Basically, all I'm going to do is use my hot glue gun as well as the E6000 glue. I'm going to apply the glue. Now, I know I'm a little bit out of frame here as I do it, but what I'm doing is applying the glue and then leaving about 3 little spaces, but empty, where I can put the hot glue, so that way I'm not mixing the E6000 and the hot glue together so that they don't cancel each other out. But the reason I add the hot glue is to just get a faster hold and I'm able to move on a little faster with the DIY. All right, so now what I am doing, I'm still not sure if I'm going to use this brooch, but I am going to go ahead and prep it. And I do that by taking my needle nose, and sometimes I use wire cutters and just remove the back clamp from the brooch so that it will lay as flush as possible. And then once I do that, looks like, what I'm doing now is just like I did with the first set. Since these little pot belly vases are going to be used as candle holders, I'm adding a little glass votive holder down inside. Now, these votive holders will be glued down inside the pot belly vase. But even though it's, the votive is already a little fancy, it's one of those Mercury votives, I'm going to add a little bit of bling wrap. And, because it's me, and you guys know I have to do something. I'm always a little bit extra. Probably didn't have to do it, but I decided to do it. So once I add this bling wrap, I think we'll be ready for the final reveal. So hang on. Everyone, this is how the set turned out. You know what? I think I do like them, but you let me know what you think in the comments. Now there's a little closer look. Now let's take a closer look at everything. I think these are pretty, and I think they're going to be a lot more durable than the original set. First of all, I used more crystals, which I really love. I attached the crystals a lot, differently so that they hang better. But also, I made the mirror part thicker. And that means, I think, the way these are made, I can put something a little bit more, a vase, a little heavier vase than I could on the other set. And I'll be able to use them in a different way. Plus, just like with the first set, the potbelly vases that I've used this time for the candle holders, they're not glued down, just like they weren't in the old set, so they're interchangeable. As I said, I can use them to display vases or other candle holders, etc. So overall, I like the look, but you guys let me know what you think. And as you can see, I did go with the larger brooch. It's the more cascading brooch. I couldn't decide between this one and the tiny one, and I just decided, or the smaller one, but I just decided to go for it because you know what? I love bling and crystals and all that stuff, anything shiny. So I went for the bigger piece. Let me know what you think. Did I make the right decision? Now also here we're going to take a look at some other pieces that I've made, including the original set. And there it is. That's the original set. Now as you can see, the mirror is just a single mirror. So every now and then I have to go in and re-glue that trim. And I don't think I'll have to do that with this new set. Now there's a candle holder that I did in another video. And this set here was a thrifted, some thrifted vases that I upcycled with paint and silver leaf. And guys, I wish you could really see on camera what this set looks like. I think it's so pretty. I don't think the camera does it justice, but there it is. So there you see the other candle holder, and back there in the corner is another little storage jar that I did in another video. So, all right, guys, that is all I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're not a member of the channel, or if you're not subscribed, I hope you will consider doing that. I would love to have you be a member of the family. Also, make sure you visit Tablescapes by Candy, because I will be using these candle holders in a tablescape very soon. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. And as I say at the end of every video, have a wonderful day or a wonderful night. All right, guys, have a good night.